Well, folks, here we go again. We yet again have things to talk about, stuff to discuss. This time, we're at Hollywood Studios. Oh, look away if that scares you. A bee just landed right on me. Just landed right on me. Please don't sting me. Oh, please don't sting me. Oh, please fly off of me, Mr. B. Please. There we go. Okay. That was fun. Hello, everybody. Welcome and welcome back. I am CrisTheGirl. Welcome to Vlogmas day number 4. Although we're not doing anything super festive today. We're not doing anything super Christmassy. Although I'll point out some, I'll point out some holiday things today. We'll try to make it as fun as we possibly can. But we're at Disney, so how fun can we actually have? No, I'm just kidding. We're at Disney today. We're at Disney's Hollywood Studios in particular, and we gotta talk about the Muppets. It's time. We gotta talk about Muppet Vision 3D and the travesty of the news that we just received recently of what's gonna happen to my beloved Muppets, my beloved attraction here. All right, move to a different location here. Okay, if you are familiar with me, if you're familiar with the channel, if you've been watching for a little while, if you watch the Disney videos, then you know how devastated I am about this news. I love the Muppets. Literally every single time we go in there and we watch the show and I come out, whether I have my camera or not, I say the exact same thing every single time. If they ever get rid of this attraction, I'm burning this place down to the ground because I love it so much. It is my favorite attraction here at Disney. So we're gonna talk about all of that today. I got a lot of thoughts, got a lot of feelings, but I got a lot of thoughts, a lot of theories. They're gonna put the Muppets in the Rock and Roller Coaster ride too. Aerosmith is getting the boot out of that ride, so we're gonna talk about that a bit today as well. And I just want to apologize because one, it's very windy, as you can see and as you can probably hear here as well, so apologies for that first of all, but also apologies because this is probably going to be a very long video, as these things usually are. If you saw my last video where we talked about, not my last video, but the last video where we talked about these sort of things over about, the riverboat and the rivers of America and all that thing, that was a very long video. This is probably going to be a long video too because I think I even have even more thoughts and feelings about this, to be honest. So just strap in, get ready. I'm gonna be very blunt, gonna be very honest, as I always am with these things, but like even more so with this one because again, I love the Muppets and I think that this is actually the most terrible thing that Disney has ever done. Like, I actually really legitimately feel that way. So I've got a lot to talk about, and I may not be able to burn this place down to the ground physically, but we can sure try to do it metaphorically. I can sure try to do it in my own small way of trying to burn this company down to the ground because I'm seriously so pissed at them. I am so pissed at Disney. I could just absolutely just vomit with rage right now. Anyway, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you have a good time. It's gonna be another kind of depressing sort of thing, I know, and we're kind of angry, obviously, and heated and all the things, so I apologize. We always try to keep it positive on this channel as much as possible, but we gotta talk about these things, folks, okay? We gotta talk about these things. It just simply has to be done, so I apologize, but we'll try to make it as fun as possible. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get started. So actually, even before we go through security and the gates over here, I gotta set this up here properly for you all. I apologize if you aren't new here, if I sound like a broken record, because I say this pretty much all the time, I feel like. But if anybody is new here, if this is the first video that you're clicking on of mine, which, wow, what a video to click on, but here we are, I appreciate it nonetheless. I gotta set this up here for you all. So just some context. The context, I feel, is very, very important, so you have an idea of who I am and where I'm coming from, and then I'm not just talking out of my butthole here. Context, very important. So I grew up here. grew up here going to Disney. Literally lived like directly across the street from Disney my entire childhood in the 90s. I'll throw that one out there as well. My mom was a cast member here. She worked here full time, and back in that day you were able to just basically go in and out of Disney whenever the heck you wanted, as well as, you know, we were kids, so we were able to too. So it was basically one of those things where it's like, we finish up with school, let's head on over to Disney, let's get something to eat, let's ride a ride, go home, do homework, do the same thing over again the next day. On the weekends we come over here to Disney, go hang out. Doesn't even have to be at the parks, maybe just go to the hotels, walk around, whatever. Disney was in our backyard and we sure took advantage of that. We were here all the time. I literally grew up inside of these theme parks, and that was my childhood. That was my entire childhood. And even when we moved over to Cocoa, Florida, which is about an hour from here, we still were pass holders, and we went here all the time on our weekends and, you know, for special occasions and birthdays and anniversaries and blah 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 blah. I was always here at Disney. Still spent a lot of time here. When I graduated college, the only thing I wanted to do with my life was to work at Disney. So I did that. I worked here full time for about 3 to 4 years. Worked at Epcot, I worked at Animal Kingdom, I worked at, what's the other one? Magic Kingdom as well, and I absolutely loved it. It was, once again, the only job that I ever wanted to do, and I achieved that. Yay, goals. Even when I moved away from Florida, I thoroughly missed Disney. I missed Disney. I didn't miss Florida. I missed going to Disney. And because my parents, you know, moved out of my childhood home and lived full-time in an RV and whatnot, in many ways, this is my home. I have a lot of history here, a lot of personal history here, a lot of nostalgia here, a lot of amazing memories that were made here at Disney. And so, of course, it's always going to be really hard to see things change. All right? It's always going to be hard to see things change in a place that you consider your home, and a place that you love so much, that you spent so much of your time and all of your memories. So when Disney comes in and they take a wrecking ball to all of your favorite things in the entire world, yeah, it's a little hard. It's a little hard on us. And I know I'm not the only one out there. There's tons and tons and tons of people out there who have the exact same experience, who grew up inside of this theme park, who have memories here, and so it's always hard to see that go away. I want to say all of that again just to give you some context of where I'm coming from, and the fact that, yeah, I've seen this park change for 30 plus years of my life. So again, I'm not talking out of my butt here. But also, like, I understand that nostalgia and those kind of rose-colored glasses that you have, in a way, I guess, just sort of taints your view on the changes that happen here inside of this park. And I know that that's not entirely fair, okay? I'll throw that out there right now. I know that that's not entirely fair, because change is not always a bad thing, right? Change is a good thing. The parks have to continually evolve and stay up to date and, you know, keep up with the current youth, the current kids, and blah, 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 blah. So I understand that. It's never a good thing to be stagnant. So I get that, okay? I don't want to linger on that too much here, because I feel like, once again, a broken record. I've talked about this endlessly in past videos. I'll even link my my latest video about the Liberty Bell and the Rivers of America and whatnot down below for you all, because I really empathize with the people out there who were excited for these changes, okay? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not even really trying to change your mind here, although honestly, in this video, I kind of am. Not gonna lie, I kind of am in this particular video, because this is a little bit different. I'm just trying to say that I understand change is a thing, but in this particular instance, I'm actually not even really going to be talking too much about nostalgia and the fact that the Muppets are my favorite attraction and like all the things, because it's like such a minor, lesser part of this whole issue that I have with this. It's a much bigger issue that I see here, and that I see these parks going down. But the Muppets in particular is such a very, very problematic thing to take out of this park. It's a very, very problematic thing, and it has nothing to do with my nostalgia. So I just want to stop that right there. If you're typing up angrily right now on your computer or your phone or whatever, saying, well, you're just nostalgic, this place is for the kids and it's always changing and Walt wanted it that way and blah blah. I understand. Save yourself some angry typing. Just save it. Just don't do it, please, because I understand. I get it. I know exactly what you think and how you feel. Thanks. Don't need to hear it. And that's not what I'm saying. There's a bigger problem here, okay? There's a bigger problem. So just stay tuned. We'll get into it. Let's actually get inside of the park now. Let's go through the gates and move on from this bench before another bee lands on me. You want to see what I'm seeing? There's a country bear out here at the studios. What's he doing? He's dancing. What is a country bear doing at the studios? Always love seeing the studios during the holidays because we spent a lot of our Christmas time here at the studios back in my day when Osborne Spectacle dancing lights was a thing that you could do here for free, well, included with your park admission ticket, and you could just go in the back and enjoy all of these beautiful lights, all of these Christmas lights, and it was freaking amazing and beautiful and amazing, and it was a Christmas tradition of ours and all the things. And then of course they took that away, make way for Star Wars Land and Toy Story and all the things, which I get. Again, change, blah blah blah, all the things, whatever. But man, oh man, do I miss that. And then what makes insult to injury is the fact that they now have a Christmas event here, Jollywood Nights, that you have to spend just an ungodly amount of money on to enjoy the Christmas festivities here at the studios. And it's just kind of bonkers to me. That's an event I can promise you right now we're never going to on this channel. I am never going to Jollywood Nights. I'm never going to spend extra money. Sorry, I'm boycotting it. That is a personal problem of mine. That one is a personal problem of mine. That's the nostalgia getting in the way. All right, we're gonna make our way over, Lord help me, to the Muppets first. We're gonna do the Muppets. I wore my waterproof mascara specifically for this reason because I have a feeling I'm gonna be sobbing. Up to this point, like, my mind literally has not been able to comprehend like how this is just not gonna be here anymore. Like, how is that even possible? Like, I still like don't believe it. I can't believe that this isn't gonna be here. The fountain, the whole facade here. Like, how can this not be here anymore? You know? I don't know. I'm looking at it right now and I still can't even comprehend it. Also, just want to throw out here, what? Like, tasteless. Honestly, Disney, you're tasteless. To have this advertised here in front of the Muppets, Jim Henson, a documentary on Jim Henson, is such a freaking insult. Like, that's actually kind of wild. It's actually kind of wild. Alright, tell you what, let's go inside, let's go watch it, and then we'll talk.
Making sure you're filling in all available spaces. Once again.
Jim Henson, Muppet Vision. 3 days. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, good, Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could step as far forward and close together as you can.
Yeah. Get real close. You see, we're doing research on deodorant strength.
At this time, we ask you to please stand up and head all the way forward towards Kermit's tuxedo.
Hi, I'm Dorothy. I'm Dinah.
I'm Max. Yes, Debbie was sick, so the union sent me.
What are we going to see in here anyway? It's one of those 3D movies. Put on your glasses, Tamra. Yeah. Hey, look! Look at the guy in the goofy mask. That's not a mask. Sorry, lady.
Everything okay?
Hey, no hop under. Machine is go under flumy.
Exactly. And our demonstration includes...
Hey, what's all the commotion about?
What? He ran away.
Well, you know what that makes him?
Smarter than us.
Okay. Sam, are you about ready?
Yes, it's a glorious 3-hour finale.
You got a minute and a half.
Look out!
Okay, show just ended, and not gonna lie, I sobbed through the entire thing. Sobbed like a baby. And just really quick, if you all, I guess maybe I should have explained this earlier, I don't know. If you don't know what's like going on here, if you don't know what the update is gonna be, this whole area back in here is gonna be Monsters Inc. land. That's the plan. And I think, I should have studied the concept art before I did this today, but I think that the actual like main ride, which is gonna be a roller coaster, I might just add to you here, because that's gonna come into play later for one of my big grievances with this, but I don't even think the actual big e-ticket attraction is even gonna be in the dang Muppets building, this building right over here. From what I understand from the concept art, I think you like walk in this way, and then the ride's gonna be like directly in front of you, so like somewhere back in there I think is where the actual roller coaster is gonna be. So I'm not entirely sure what the Muppet building is going to be. It could be a restaurant, could be a gift shop, could be something else, maybe a different kind of attraction. Honestly, not sure. But yeah, in any case, this whole area it's going away. It's being repurposed for Monsters Inc. land. So the good news of today is that Tampa Jay is actually on his way over to join us. So that's really nice. Got some emotional support coming our way. That was hard. That was really hard. Yeah, I literally did sob the entire time. I just love that. I just love that attraction so much. It's literally my favorite thing here at Disney. Something that once brought me the most joy. The most joy. That I could just watch and giggle and laugh and smile and say all the sayings and whatever and just enjoy myself. And I have this one thing, this one piece of thing here at the studios left and at Disney left that I can just enjoy. And now, watching it, I'm just full of sadness. This thing that brought me so much joy is now just the saddest thing I can possibly imagine right now. So that blows. That in and of itself absolutely blows. So in case you all didn't know, this is Jim Henson's, the creator of the Muppets, last project. His last project that he ever worked on before he passed away tragically, rather young. And that is the thing that absolutely makes me the most upset out of all of this, is the fact that this is not just an awesome, cute attraction, classic, all the things, but it's a piece of history. Like, it is an actual piece of history. What is a shame to me is that someone who was so kind of similar to Walt Disney in the sense that he was very creative, he was a dreamer, he was pushing the boundaries, he was a perfectionist, he knew what he wanted, and he did it, and like all of the things, a fellow creator, a fellow imaginer, a fellow entertainer, all the things. Jim Henson we're just gonna take away the last project that he worked on, the last thing. And we're not talking about a movie here, like a movie, like an actual movie that you saw in the theaters without all the special effects and things like that. Like, we're talking about a whole freaking project here. We're talking about not just the movie, but we're talking about the pre-show. We're talking about the special effects in there. We're talking about the live actor who walks around to Sweetums. We're talking about the animatronics. We're talking about the Penguin Orchestra. Like, we're talking about a whole freaking setup in here of a thing. Like, it's not just something that you can just throw on a DVD and call it a day. There's Jim Henson's last project. At least we have it here. Like, no. The whole thing is meant to be experienced as an entity, as a whole entire thing in and of itself, with all of the special effects and the animatronics and the live actors and the pre-show and all the things. Like, it's meant to be done all together. And so when Disney comes on here, and literally the only thing that they have ever said is that they are exploring creative ways to preserve Muppet Vision 3D for the fans. And those are all more or less their exact words. Exploring creative ways of how to preserve this for the fans. And that's all we know. That's all we know. They haven't said anything else of how their real ideas of how they're going to preserve this piece of history here. We don't know. We don't know yet. And my thing is, and what other people have theorized is, are they really just going to slap this on a Disney Plus and make this a thing that you can just stream at home? Because you can't do that. Like, that's not the show. That's not the entire show. How are you going to have Waldorf and Statler doing their classic lines? How are you going to have Sweetums come in there and interact with the Penguin Orchestra? Like, how are you going to do all of that stuff? You can't. You have to have the whole thing in and of its entirety. So I really would like to know the creative ways that they are thinking about preserving. Again, I'm just going to emphasize this historical attraction, this piece of history here. Jim Henson, his last wish, his last thing that he really, really wanted was for the Muppets to live on in theme parks, to live on here at Disney. Like, that was what he really, really wanted. That was like one of his last wishes and desires, because he knew that if the Muppets were here at Disney and a theme park, that they would continue to live on beyond him. And I mean, I guess thankfully they're planning on kind of doing that. They're not like completely erasing the Muppets from the parks or whatever, but I just want to say that to emphasize the fact that Jim Henson really, really, really wanted these Muppets to be here at the parks, at Disney somehow. And, you know, that whole process of Disney purchasing the Muppets, like getting the rights to the Muppets and all of that was very tricky. It's a whole like history on it. Like it's a whole thing in and of a thing. We don't have time to talk about it. I can't even properly explain it myself, but it was a whole thing. Like, they kept going back and forth on it. Eisner at the time, you know, was not making it easy on him, and just all the company in general wasn't making it easy on Jim Henson, but he really wanted the project to work, and they kept working on Muppet Vision 3D and all the things. And, you know, in the end, obviously, Disney has the Muppets now, so they bought this. Okay, they bought not only, you know, the Muppets themselves, but they bought the responsive freakability of this whole entire project, this man's life work, Jim Henson's life work in Disney's hands. That is a huge responsibility. And look, I understand a grown woman here talking about puppets like it's the end of the earth. Like, I understand that a woman in her 30s is upset about puppets. Like, I get it. I understand, like, how crazy and silly this sounds. But this was Jim Henson's life work, and I'm a big fan of Jim Henson. I think that he was just a fascinating person, like a fascinating person. You cannot deny the lasting effect that one man has had, and his team, this one man and his team, the Jim Henson Company in general, has had on society, on our culture. And his last work, you all, is right here. It's here at the studios. It's not even at Disneyland. It's here at the studios. This was his project. And now it's going to go away. So you can see why I was a little upset earlier when they were just, advertising his documentary in front of Muppet Vision 3D, as if they didn't literally just, poop all over the legacy of Jim Henson by saying, yeah, we're getting this thing out of here. Like, are you joking me? Like, that is so distasteful and disrespectful and disgusting, honestly. Like, I can't believe that they would actually do that. Yeah, like, honestly, gross, Disney. Don't pretend to care about this man. Do not pretend to care about this man. All right, we're gonna head towards the opposite end of the park now. Stopped at Geoffrey's, got me a coffee, not because I need it, but because I wanted it. We gotta talk about Animation Courtyard next, because this was the other location that Monsters Inc. Land was rumored to be at. I think most people thought this was where that land was gonna go, because there's truly nothing going on over here. Like, really nothing is going on over here. So we have Mickey's Playhouse stuff going on, which is good, and I do like that because, Disney Junior. It used to be Mickey's Playhouse. Why would I keep up with this stuff? Anyway, that is over here. I think obviously this is great. The kiddos can meet some of the characters that they've been watching on the TV and blah, 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 blah. Like, I think that's great, but Star Wars Launch Bay over here as well, where you can do meet and greets with some of the Star Wars characters that you can't necessarily find over in Batuu and Star Wars Land in the back. And then Little Mermaid, the show over here, which hasn't been open for the longest dang time. So basically they have this whole entire area back in here that is just ripe for something to be put here that isn't Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, we already have a whole full-on Star Wars land. Why do we have Star Wars Launch Bay still? I know there's certain characters that you can meet here, Darth Vader, BB-8, that you can't meet in Batuu, but, like, honestly, who cares, really? Like, I understand if, like, meeting Darth Vader is the greatest thing in the world to you, and I don't mean to diminish that, but, like, you could put him in Star Wars Land, too. Like, he doesn't have to be here. There's a whole gigantic freaking area here. And not just like the walls that you see here, but beyond the walls that you see here that has so much land that literally nothing is going on in. Like, nothing is going on over here. So to me, it's like you have to ask yourself, well, so then why? Why would they choose the Muppets over here? Like, why would they not just put it here in this area? And I have theories. I have conspiracy theories on this because, again, as we know, Disney, it is a company. They're going to make business decisions, and this is what I think. Okay, this is what I think. I think Disney has an Aerosmith problem. I think that they have been itching to get Aerosmith evicted from Rock and Roller Coaster. I think they've been looking for something to put into that space for a while now, because Aerosmith is a bit of a controversial band, Steven Tyler, a bit of a controversial person, and I think just in general, they're just sick of it. They don't want it to be Aerosmith anymore. So what IP are they going to put in the place of Aerosmith at Rock and Roller Coaster? What IP could they possibly put in there? Because they can't put up an original idea. They can't do something that isn't Disney related. Like, it has to be Disney related. It has to be an IP so they can sell merchandise and like all the things, you know what I mean? So there's really not any other movie, I feel, or IP based thing that would fit for that kind of ride. Like, if you really think about it, like, what's gonna kind of fit with that sort of like music theme, or just like kind of an intense roller coaster like Rock and Roller Coaster? And I think that the Muppets was sort of the quote unquote obvious choice if you're not really thinking that hard and you just want a simple answer and you just want to slap something in there without any thought or consideration whatsoever. You're gonna put the Muppets in there. That's like, just, it's an obvious choice. So if they put the Muppets in there, then, they don't have to have Muppet Vision 3D anymore. They can just put the land in that area, because who really cares about Muppet Vision 3D Like, they don't understand their fan base, and they don't think that any of that is important. So let's just take all of that out, because I also think that Star Wars launch bay is too important for them to want to get rid of. This is my theory. Again, like, I haven't heard this on the internet anywhere or whatever. This is my personal theories of 30 plus years, you know, looking at this company, like having a history with this company, of observing this company. I think that Star Wars launch bay is too profitable for them to want to get rid of. I think that Star Wars obviously is a huge franchise in general, and I just think that they're not going to want to get rid of it anytime soon. Like, anything at all. Even if it doesn't make any cohesive sense in their stupid theme parks. Even though this stupid Star Wars launch bay is all the way out over here, and yet they have a whole Star Wars land in the back, like, and then they have freaking Star Tours as well, and its own little island. Like, this whole entire park, 50% of it is freaking Star Wars, and they don't care. They don't care about the cohesion. They don't care about the theming. They don't care about any of that stuff anymore, because it's just profitable to them, because Star Wars will always be profitable. Everyone's always going to love Star Wars. That's why they're putting out, like, all kinds of content on Disney Plus that is Star Wars based, that it's actually, like, overwhelmingly ridiculous. And so I think that Star Wars launch bay is too profitable for them. I think that that is too good of a thing to have inside of this park, and I don't think that they see the Muppets anywhere close to the same way as they see Star Wars. And I mean, really, it's apples and oranges here that we're comparing, but I think if you just look at it from a business perspective, they don't want to get rid of Star Wars launch bay. They want people to go in there and spend tons of time waiting in line to meet Darth Vader and purchase, you know, the photo passes. And I think, isn't there? Yeah, I think there's a gift shop in there as well. They don't want to get rid of that. You can buy your generic Star Wars merchandise in there, you know? So, like, it's too profitable. It's too profitable to get rid of Star Wars launch bay. So they'd rather just have an incohesive, honestly, like, embarrassing theme park, and they'd rather get rid of history, like an actual historical site. They'd rather do all of that and save a couple of dollars than do something that actually makes sense. Genuinely, I want to know what all of this space is being used for. I do see, like, there's a parking garage all the way in the back there. I'm guessing employee question mark parking. I really honestly don't know. But, like, what are all these buildings? Like, what are these doing? What are their purpose? I would want to wonder. I'm sure that they have one. I'm sure that it's, you know, not just empty buildings or whatever. But I would love to know. I would love to know what's going on there. That's so freaking important that they can't get rid of it to make way for their precious Monsters Inc. land. Look at that squirrel. Are you seeing that squirrel? Cute. As far as I know, this theater, I don't think anything's going on in there. Oh no, it's part of their museum, that's right. Quote unquote museum. Actually, no, not even. Do they do a show in there still? I have no idea, honestly. But yeah, there's, like, things in here that you can look at. Star Wars things. But these are even just, like, models, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, actual screen used or whatever things. Like, they're just literally, like models. Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that this stuff isn't cool, because I love Star Wars. It's literally one of my most favorite movie franchises of all time. Maybe, period, of all time. I love Star Wars. I'm not saying I don't want to see this stuff, because I love it. I'm not a fan of Batu, personally. I'm not a fan of the Star Wars land in the back. Hot take, but there you go. I would rather see this stuff. The stuff that I actually grew up with and like, you know, the original movies. I'm not saying I don't want to see it, but I'm just saying, like, if it's gonna be Muppets or this, I'm gonna pick the Muppets every time. It's no competition. And then they have, like, all this stuff in here, like little photo opportunities and stuff. And again, I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying this is basically what Star Wars land is. So why is he still here? Okay, so I guess maybe they don't have a gift shop there anymore. Maybe? Somehow I ended out where I came in. Okay, my apologies. There isn't a store in here anymore. Not that I can see. So, hey, there is that, I guess. I think one of the things that people like to say too is like, well, nobody goes to the Muppets anymore. Like, it's not a popular attraction. It doesn't see lines, doesn't see the foot traffic that other things do and will, etc. Same thing with the riverboat and like all of these other attractions that are going away. That's one of the first things that people love to say is like they just don't get any, there's just no traffic there. There's no desire for people to want to see these things. You're going to tell me that this here, right here, is going to be more, I don't know, like has more foot traffic than the Muppets does? I'm not sure about that, to be quite honest with you. Because I know I just said that you wait a million years to see your Star Wars characters, but it was only a 20-minute wait to see Darth Vader today during the holidays. Meanwhile, I had to wait for the Muppets today. There was a sizable line for it, and there was when I left too. So I'm not convinced that, I don't know, I'm not convinced that this gets more traffic. I'm not convinced that this is more popular than the Muppets per se. Not to mention, we're talking about taking out an attraction versus taking out a meet and greet, which I think objectively people can agree on that that's not the same thing. Like, it's worse to take out an attraction than a meet and greet. Like, wouldn't we rather still have the attraction? On top of that, we'll just go into this like little tangent here, but the rides like Muppet Vision 3D, the rides like the Liberty Bell, like the riverboat, things like that quote-unquote don't get a lot of foot traffic. Those rides have a very important part in the whole scheme of a theme park. You can't have only e-ticket rides inside of your theme park. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I'm not saying anybody out, you know, all of you are watching this. You're all intelligent people. I know you get it. But just in general, like the general public out there, you can't have only e-ticket rides inside of your freaking theme park. Like, you gotta have other things going on here, folks. Otherwise, it's Six Flags. Welcome to Six Flags. Disney's Six Flags. Like, seriously, you have to have more than e-ticket rides in your freaking theme park. Rides like the Muppets, theater attractions, riverboats, the boat rides in general, the slower rides, all of those things have a very important place inside of theme parks because they're people guzzlers, first of all. A lot of people can go on the riverboat, a lot of people can go in the Muppets. The Muppets is a continuous show. There's no set show times for the Muppets, so that means it is continually going. Rarely does it break down because it's a theater. Sure, there may be some show elements that don't work or this, that, or the other thing, but when have you ever seen the Muppets go down? When have you ever seen the Muppets not working? And I'm not talking about refurbishment or anything like that. I'm just saying something that breaks down on the Muppets. You don't. It's a theater show. It doesn't matter. So you're getting people to do things at your theme parks instead of literally spending their entire day waiting in line for your freaking rides. And sometimes, I might add, you can't even get on the rides that you want to get on anyway. I'm thinking of the virtual queues here. Like, you have to basically, like, play the lottery. You have to play the lottery 2 times a day to see if you can even get on the dang rides that you want to get on in the first place. It's not even a guarantee. I'm looking at you, Tron. I'm looking at you. If you know, you know, or struggle with Tron. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I understand change. I understand wanting to progress your parks. I understand wanting to put in the latest and greatest whatever. I may not agree with it, but whatever. I get it. But at the same dang time, you gotta have rides. I don't want to wait in line all day. Nobody wants to wait in line all day. You're going to come to the theme park and you're going to ride 2 rides and then you're going to go home. Is that really your money's worth? You really think that that's your money's worth? They're waiting in line for rides all day, and the studios in particular has a big problem with that. It's a big problem here because they mostly have e-ticket rides at this point. Let's just stop and think about it here for a minute. Mickey's Runaway Railway, huge ride. I've never seen a small wait for that thing. Rise of the Resistance, the Millennium Falcon ride, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Toy Story Mania, what else? Slinky Dog Dash. I mean, like, that's basically all the rides here, you guys. Like, that's basically it. All that you have left are basically the theater attractions, which now one of them, your major top one, that is a continuous show, I might add, is going away. Like, I don't understand how we don't actually really see a big problem with that. If we're gonna talk about accessibility, which, trust me, we're getting there in terms of accessible rides that like people with disabilities and such can go on, because that's gonna be a whole freaking tangent on its own, you know it is. But if we're talking about accessibility in terms of financial accessibility, please tell me how that makes any dang sense for these parks. You're gonna wait in line for major rides your entire day at this park. I personally know people who do not live in Florida, who come here, travel here maybe once a year with their family to do a big Disney vacation, and all they want to do is ride, let's say, Rise of the Resistance. And then they came here to this park to try to ride Rise of the Resistance, and they weren't able to get a virtual queue, and they weren't able to ride it, so they had to buy another park ticket for their family of 4 to come back and try to do it again. Please tell me how that's fair. Please tell me how that is even remotely fair. And that's the thing that I try to keep in mind with these things, because that's what I learned as a cast member here, way back in the day when Disney actually cared about these things, is that it's not about people like me. Believe it or not, it's not about people like me. It's not about pass holders. It's not about the people who come here all the time. It's not about vloggers and influencers. It's about the families who come here, who save up their entire lives for their one Disney trip, their one Disney vacation with their family, to be able, and they should be able to do whatever the heck they want to do in that day. It should be accessible. It doesn't have to be the easiest thing in the world, but it should be relatively easy. You know, now we're talking about virtual queue here and like the fast pass and all that stuff, but if people just want to wait in line all day for one ride, we should allow them to do that. Like, virtual queue is such a joke. Like, I can't believe that even is still a thing. Like, what a scam. What an actual scam that Disney is doing, and no one talks about that as often as they do, because why would they? When you come here all the time, it doesn't matter. You ride the rides that you want to ride. But when we have to think about the families that don't get to come here very often. They want to come here, they want to ride rides, they want to get their money's worth, they want to be able to do things. Like, we all want to be able to feel like we got our money's worth. And if we just put in e-ticket rides inside of this park, rides that everybody wants to ride, that have massive long lines the entire day, you automatically are not going to be able to do all of the things that you want to do. And it's just not fair. It's just not fair. It's a scam. The whole thing is a dang scam. And I'm just sick, like I said, being very blunt, I'm really just sick of people being like, this is great, things need to be updated, it needs to be changed, it's progress, put in rides that people actually quote unquote want to ride and all this stuff. And it's like, no, you're only thinking about yourself here. Actually, you actually are only thinking about yourself. You got to think about other people. You got to think about the whole entire theme park experience for people. Not to mention, people who go to theme parks are not all able-bodied people. People who go to theme parks are not adults. Babies go to theme parks. Elderly folks go to theme parks. People with motion sickness issues go to theme parks. People with disabilities go to theme parks. So my question is, what are they going to ride? And what are they going to do? Won't somebody please think of the children? I had to. Saw these creepy children here. They're little. They're very little. Because look at those. Either that or the spoon and the cup is really, really big. but they're like the size of a teacup. They're holding some sugar cubes there. You think they're gonna be able to ride the new Monsters Inc. roller coaster? You think they'll be tall enough? I don't know. All right, heading down Sunset. We're gonna head over to Rock and Roller Coaster territory now. Goodbye, Aerosmith from Rock and Roller Coaster. I know a lot of people are pretty upset about this one too. It seems like pretty dang upset about it. I don't blame you. Definitely don't blame you. I used to love, I mean, I still love this ride in concept, but I used to really love this ride when I was growing up and I was able to do roller coasters. I can't do them anymore. I have motion issues, so I haven't rode this thing in a really long time, but this was like one of my most favorite rides ever. I am a fan of Aerosmith. I like Aerosmith's music. I like the concept of this. I think the queue is awesome. The whole thing is just really, really cool. Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. But I understand Disney's want and desire to not be associated with Aerosmith anymore. I get it. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing or whatever. I'm not even really saying that it shouldn't be updated. I think it would be cool to see some sort of update with this ride. I think in this case though, at least the ride kind of is probably going to stay more or less exactly the same. I'm sure they'll change, you know, a few elements. And again, if you don't know what's going on here, they're basically going to be putting the Muppets band, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem are going to be taking over Rock and Roller Coaster. And I'm not saying that that's like a bad fit either per se. I get where they're going with it. Like I do understand it, but I'm not convinced. My thing is that the Muppets are meant to be seen and heard. You know, there's a reason why the theater show does so well, is because that's what the Muppets were created to do, was to entertain and, you know, to make jokes, and like you're supposed to like hear them, like interact with them. They're supposed to like be entertaining you and like all the things. And I don't know how that's gonna lend itself to a dark roller coaster where literally like nothing happens on the ride. Like I know you scooch past like a whole city scene, or like there's like some like elements that you can see in that ride, but even literally as I was walking up here, someone was describing the ride to their kid and they were like, yeah, you don't really see anything in there. It's a really dark roller coaster ride. You don't see anything. And it's like, that's exactly my point. It's like, how are we really celebrating the Muppets by putting them on a dark roller coaster? Like, how much does that actually make sense? You're supposed to hear their jokes. They're funny. You're supposed to hear their jokes. You're supposed to see them and hear them, and like they're meant to be a show. They're meant to be a thing that you watch and you listen to, not scooch past on a dark roller coaster where you don't see anything. Now, obviously, they'll put them in the queue. They'll incorporate them with the pre-show. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like I'm not saying it would be bad, but I'm just saying, like, are you really utilizing the Muppets the way that they're supposed to be utilized by sticking them in a dark coaster and what? You know, like I genuinely am confused by that, and I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a good fit. I would love for them to just be bold and just like kind of keep it how it is, like the music theme, the rock and roll theme. Maybe don't focus on Aerosmith, but you could do like classic rock and roll. You know, you can celebrate other bands. You can celebrate a lot of other bands. Like I think that there's options that you can do to still keep this ride like somewhat edgy and like kind of more on the adult side. Because let's be real here, like there's a height limit for this ride. This is This is more of an adult ride. You know, little kids, little babies are not riding this thing. So why not lean into that, as you did initially with the choice of making this ride, of making Aerosmith the poster child of this. Lean into it. Keep it classic rock. Keep it rock and roll. Just do that. But you know, obviously they can't and they won't do that because there's no IPs. There's no IPs based off of that, and there's not enough merchandise to go around. There's not enough money, sales to be had if you just slap classic rock bands on this ride. Like, they can make more money, I'm sure they feel, if they put the Muppets on here, if they put their own IPs on it. So obviously it's a money grab decision, and I think it's pretty gross, personally. And there is some talk potentially of Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy going away, and maybe they'll throw the Muppets in that theater or some kind of theater in the back there. It's a rumor. I've heard people theorize, and personally, I don't see it. I don't know. I mean, you never know. I'm sure they could probably theoretically do it. But again, like, my whole thing is you can't just throw Muppet Vision 3D onto a movie reel and call it good, call it gravy, call it done. It needs all of the effects, all of those special effects, the live actors, the animatronics, and yes, the pre-show. It's all a part of that attraction. You can't have one without the other. You can't have the other without the other. Like, they all have to be in there. So I do not have confidence that Disney is going to take the time to rebuild that freaking movie, that freaking attraction in here, one by one, piece by piece, animatronic by animatronic, to recreate it the way that it's meant to be, if they're just going to smash it out anyway. If they don't have the respect and the wherewithal to keep it where it is in the first place, you cannot possibly convince me that they are going to take the time to just move it somewhere else. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the company that I have come to know over these past 30 years and the past decade especially. They do not take time with their things. They cut corners, they do it sloppily, they do not put the time and the respect that these things need to preserve them. One of the other huge reasons why I'm so upset that the Muppets is going away is because it was one of the only things that I could do here at the studios. I can't do any rides here. As a person who has very severe motion sensitivity issues, like very severe, I can't do any of these rides. Like, none of them. And so the Muppets was the one thing that I always did here. Now, there are other theater shows and things like that. Beauty and the Beast, literally right here, right next to me. Indiana Jones, One Man's Dream, the lovely Walt Disney Museum that they have here. I guess someday Little Mermaid's gonna open up, I don't know. But there's some other, like, theater things that I can do, but you know, the Muppets was the one thing that I always did. That was always a constant. Like I said, it's a continuous show, so I don't have to wait for specific show times for it too. It was just always there, and everything was good and gravy. Once again, we're talking about this exact same freaking thing, where Disney likes to take out rides that I can actually do, attractions that I can actually do and experience, and then replace them with something that I will not be able to do. And I say me here, but I am talking about all of the people out there who have the same issues, or who have some kind of disability to where you can't ride a lot of rides. I'm also talking about babies, about children, because a lot of these rides do have height requirements to them. I'm also talking about elderly people, like basically anybody out there who cannot ride bigger rides like that, who have issues with that. Or maybe you have to transfer out of your wheels or something, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. It just makes it's just really discouraging. It's really sad. I'm so sick of continuing to have this conversation, but I have to keep doing it because we got to keep talking about it. And we just got to keep talking about it. We have to keep talking about it. They are erasing accessibility in their parks. They are erasing the rides that every single person on the face of the freaking planet can do to put in rides only a few select people are able to do. And that is really upsetting to me. And I wish that it was more upsetting to more people. It's disappointing. And I'm not just upset about it because it's a it's partially a me problem here that I'm talking about. I think we all should just be upset about it, period. Like, I don't think that we need to be in those shoes. We don't need to know somebody in those shoes to be able to be upset about it. Like, you should be upset about it, period. It doesn't matter. Like, theme parks, in my opinion, should be accessible for all people. Every single person should be able to come through these doors and be able to have a full, fulfilling day and be able to do a decent amount of things. That's my opinion. And for some reason, that's a hot take for a lot of people. I don't know why. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But for some people, that's a hot take. It shouldn't be. It should just be theme parks are just available for everybody to be able to find something that they can do. And a lot of people love to take Walt's words and spin them around, turn them into whatever the heck they want it to be. Like, Walt always wanted change. He always wanted the theme parks to change. Blah, 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 blah. All the things, whatever. We get it. But if we want to take Walt's words and fit them into our specific scenario, Walt, the whole idea of Disney supposedly came to him when he was at a theme park with his daughters and they were riding rides and he was sitting on a park bench because he wasn't able to ride the rides with them. And the idea suddenly came to him, hey, maybe there should be a place where literally every single person can experience these things together. Not separately, not sitting on a bench while the rest of the people in your group like do your thing or whatever, but like everybody gets to have a good theme park experience together as a family. That's what he wanted. What are we doing? So then what are we doing? We're erasing those rides that literally every single person, your whole entire family can ride, for rides that only a select few amount of people are able to ride. I have a problem with that. More people should have a problem with that. We need to be talking about this more. We just got to be talking about this more. And one of the things that I always try to do in these situations when they decide to take out the rides that I love the most is I always try to just think, well, at least the kids will like it. At least the kids will like it. As long as the kids like it and they have a good time and they're excited and all the things, then fine. Whatever. I guess I will just try to move on. Clearly this isn't for me, and fine. Well, here's another special situation about this one, because that's not the case. That's actually not the case, because we are now putting in, first of all, a new ride that is going to be a roller coaster, and it's going to be kind of like a suspended roller coaster sort of thing. Now, I'm sure it's probably going to be something along the lines of like the new roller coaster that they put over at Busch Gardens, a family roller coaster, a family ride. I'm sure there'll be a height requirement. I'm sure, obviously, like babies and like elderly people probably aren't going to be able to ride that ride. But I'm sure like a decent amount of kids will be able to do it. So I will give you that. But nonetheless, it is a roller coaster, okay? It's a roller coaster. Let's call it what it is. It's a roller coaster that we're replacing with a theater attraction that, once again, everyone can ride and experience. The Muppets. Where are the Muppets going? Muppets are going on a roller coaster that is intense. A roller coaster that does have a major height requirement, 48 inches. I'm not up to date on my height requirements here at Disney, but at least back in my day, that was the highest height requirement in all of the parks, not just here, but like across all of the parks. 48 inches is tall. That is very, very, very tall. So now kids don't get to experience the Muppets or your brand new attraction. Do we see a problem with that? Like, do we actually see a problem with that? Now, like I said, again, I'm sure the height requirement won't be that bad, but it's gonna be a height requirement. Like, it's gonna be a height requirement, so that's just weird. And then again, like, to all the people out there who are like, I mean, granted, you probably didn't make it this far if you're gonna make this comment, but I'll just say it anyway, to all the people out there who are like, oh, boo-hoo, Disney's for kids anyway, like, it's just a kiddie thing, Muppets are for kids, blah, 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 blah. If Muppets are for kids, then why are they in a roller coaster with a 48-inch height requirement? Like, well, then why are they putting them on a roller coaster if they're for kids? Kids can't ride that. So how are kids going to experience the Muppets if the Muppets are for kids? Do we see the problem? Do we see the problem here? Like, do we see where the logic isn't logicking anymore? Like we've lost the plot, Disney. We've actually lost the plot. So I suppose to kind of sum up those thoughts there, I'm sick of accessible rides being taken out for rides that only a few select people are able to do. It's getting annoying, it's getting old, it's getting tired, and I'm sick of it. Like, I'm actually really legitimately sick of it. Now, again, this whole situation is different. It's different from other situations that we've had in the past. Like, for example, again, Rivers of America, Riverboat and all that stuff, Tom Sawyer's Island, all that stuff. That's going away. I think that that's kind of a done deal. I don't think Disney's going to renege on that. I think that that's going to happen whether we like it or not. So I kind of just, as much as that like actually broke me and actually snapped me in half and actually like made me be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore, Disney. You suck. I'm done with you. I still kind of like, I don't want to say accept it, but I'm just like, there's nothing I can do, basically. Like, it's happening. They're filing the permits. They filed the permits. Like, it's happening. Same with Dino Land. Like, it's happening whether we like it or not. So I don't know what to do. I'm not convinced in this case. I think we can actually, I don't want to say save the Muppets, because I seriously feel like I sound like crazy pants, like even more than I already do. But I think maybe we could. I think it's worth a shot, is what I'm trying to say. Hope is a very dangerous thing, but I think it's worth a shot. And here's why, because I have theories. By the way, one of the things that Disney has said too is that they're gonna basically fill Sunset Boulevard with Muppets merchandise. You'll be able to buy all the Muppets merchandise that you possibly want, which honestly, insult to injury. You're gonna get rid of the actual attraction with the Muppets. But don't worry, you can spend extra money, more money, to support the Muppets and buy their merchandise. We may not have an attraction for them. We may take it out. We may have no regard for history and things like that, but you can sure buy the merch. And look, don't get me wrong, I know I'm a hypocrite here, because guess who buys the merch? I do. I buy the merch. I love Disney merch. You know I do. I love shopping, all the things. But you have to agree, like, how upsetting that is, like how really honestly disgusting that is. So here's why I think maybe it is worth saving. Or not worth saving. I've already gone over all of that. But here's why I think maybe we could potentially save it, is because it is very, very clear to me, at least, that Disney just pulled this out of their butts. Literally pulled this out of their butts. They're scared out of their minds because of Universal, Epic Universe. It's coming, it's happening. Disney is shaking in their boots. We all know this to be true, and as they should be, and hopefully, just a little side note here, but hopefully Universal absolutely takes them out, and I hope that, I hope that doesn't do good things for Disney. I'll just throw that one out there. But anyway, Disney's nervous, they're scared. They have D23 coming up, and so they're like, oh crap, we gotta announce something that's gonna be like a big deal. We gotta make sure whatever announcements we talk about, that they're big, and that they're, we're making changes and like all the things. But I think genuinely deep down, they don't have any plans. They pull these things out of their butts. Like, they don't actually sit down and think about these ideas. Like, I truly do not believe that. I don't think you can convince me of that. I think that they really do just pull this out of their butts. And I think that with this one specifically, with Monsters, Inc. Land, I really think that they just last minute decision decided, yeah, sure, let's do it, whatever, who cares? Because they initially put out two types of concept art. And one concept art was, it clearly looked like it was going to be in Animation Courtyard. The other concept art, it clearly looked like it was going to be in Muppets, in the Muppets area. And they put both of those concept arts out at the same dang time. So that led people to believe for months, I might add, for months, with radio silence from Disney, months to wonder, oh, where is this going? Oh, where are they going to put this huge, gigantic land? We didn't hear anything for months after D23. We're all wondering where it's going to go. And then finally, literally just a couple weeks ago, they're like, oh, it's going here, where Muppets is, duh. You have to wonder why. You have to wonder why it took them that long to let us know where it was going. Now, a part of that, I do believe, is because they're cowards. They're actual cowards, and they didn't want to be booed on the D23 stage and say with their chest, like a real person should and would do, hey, this is where it's going, suck it up, Buttercup, like, get over it. I would have more respect for them if they did that, but they can't even do that. They didn't even let us know that Rivers of America was going away that day, so you know they like to keep things from us in that respect, because Josh DeMero didn't want to get freaking booed on stage and have tomatoes thrown at him. So that's definitely a possibility. It could be that they did know, but they just didn't want to say it because they didn't want to get booed on stage and they're cowards. Very possible, but I also think potentially it's because they actually didn't know themselves. Like, they actually were not sure themselves where this land was actually going to go. Like, they had decisions to make still. So I think that that's a real possibility. Also, the fact that they said, like they literally said, once again, almost verbatim here, we're exploring creative ways to preserve the original attraction. We're exploring creative ways to preserve Muppet Vision 3D for the fans. That sentence lives rent-free in my brain, by the way. It lives rent-free in my brain. It's a loaded statement because it's like, what do you mean you're exploring creative ways to preserve this historic attraction in your park? What do you mean? You don't already have a plan in mind? You actually don't already have a plan in mind. That means that you have no idea what you're doing with it. It means that you understand that you have a problem here, that you're creating a problem for yourself, and that fans are going to be deeply upset and hurt by this. And so you're just saying that because you are explaining your culpability. You are saying, yeah, we understand that this is a problem, that we're announcing this and a lot of you are going to be pissed about it. But don't worry, guys, we're thinking about different ways of how we can preserve this thing. What are you talking about? You should already have a plan in place. Cris from the future here. I'm interjecting really quick because I want to finish this thought. And also, first of all, say so sorry. This video is very long and I apologize. It simply is what it is. I had a lot to say. I wanted to also add into this theory that legitimately they did not plan for this. They did not plan on Muppets closing because they invested money into the Muppets. They invested money into it. They updated the projections in there. They updated every single one of those freaking theater seats recently. Like, we're not even talking like, you know, in the past couple of years. We're talking about the past couple of freaking months, dude. Like, we're talking about within this year alone, they invested money and time and effort into the Muppet Vision 3D to update it, to upkeep it. And you cannot possibly convince me in this day and age, the year of our Lord 2024, that they had it in their minds, okay, Muppet Vision 3D is closing down soon. You know, we have this whole elaborate plan. Monsters Inc. is going to go in its place, blah, 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 blah. Let's update it. Let's update the thing. Let's make it look better than it ever did before, because that's the kind of company that we are. We invest, we maintain our attractions when we know that they're going away. No, they don't do that. They let them go to waste. They let them wither and die and be a sad representation of what it used to be. So people are like, yeah, sure, that's got to go away because that area, that ride sucks. It's not being maintained, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, no, duh, because that's Disney's problem because they didn't take the time to maintain it, to keep it like going in the first place. I'm looking at you, Dino Land. I'm looking straight at you. So that, like, just another building block of theories here. I know I sound like a freaking crazy person in this video, but here we are. We're doing it anyway. They literally did not know that they were going to put this where Muppet Vision 3D was. They literally pulled this out of their butts. You will never convince me otherwise that this was some grand freaking plan that's been in the works for years, for months, whatever. I don't care. They pulled this out of their butts because there's no way in crap they would have invested a penny into Muppet Vision 3D if they knew that crap was going away. You cannot convince me otherwise. Okay, back to the video. I shouldn't be able to run this theme park better than these people are. Like honestly, how do you actually make one of the biggest announcements in Disney history and you don't even have a freaking plan? You don't even have a freaking plan of how you're going to preserve this attraction. This historic attraction. You don't even have a plan. You did not have a plan. We're exploring creative ways of how to preserve. What do you mean? What a shady company. What a shady company. Disney, you are disgusting. Like, actually disgusting. Anyway, that leads me to believe that, once again, they don't have a plan. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how or where it's going to go, how they're going to preserve it, all of things. So, all of those things combined makes me feel like maybe we can still save it. It's very possible. Tampa Jay, what do you think about it? Do you want to share your thoughts on the Muppets? And I love you. Thanks for being here.
I love you. I saw you over there. Yeah, we actually came out here, and I don't know if you told that story.
I didn't tell that story.
We started to come here, and we realized we didn't have enough time to talk about it because we had something else going on. Yeah. Yeah, and I love the Muppets. We've made so many memories inside the attraction, but just grew up with the Muppets, the Muppet Babies, the Muppet Show, Jim Henson's last project. I think it's a big mistake that they're going to take that out. And Disney has money, they have capabilities, they have land. There's all kinds of different things they could do integrity-wise and in tribute to Jim Henson and the Muppets fans. I mean, the Muppets, I get it. It's dated. It's not as relevant, but I disagree. I think Muppets is one of the most relevant things for all generations because
they're timeless.
Yeah, they're timeless. You can keep making Muppet movies, which they historically have. Yep. I wouldn't doubt that we're going to get an announcement of Monsters, Inc. 3 production coming soon. Totally. They're really promoting these IPs. You know, that's their thing. They're gonna change the parks to bring people from around the world. You know, it's not about our generation. It's about the next one. But at the same time, if it wasn't for our generation and the things that we love, the things that built these parks and the memories we made, this park wouldn't be here. People wouldn't keep coming back. And I think a lot of theme parks and in general, like what I heard at IAPA was that, you know, everyone's doing thrill rides. That's been a thing, but they're losing revenue on in-park purchases like food and stuff because most thrill riders, and I'm guilty of myself, if they're an annual pass holder or whatever they are, they go to the parks and they ride those thrill rides and they get out of there. They're losing revenue because they want people to go there and stay all day. For example, a great example of that is an entire family. And if the entire family can't ride most of these rides, then they're spending less money. So it kind of, in a way, it washes it out. Yeah. But if you make more family rides like Walt Disney envisioned, everyone can enjoy it and everyone's going to have a better time. Therefore, more people, you're going to want to stay in that park longer.
more money.
Spend more money.
All the things.
But yeah, I went off track. But back to the Muppets.
Great. Yeah.
You know, it's just a timeless piece of theme park history, and I've ridden that. You know, I've watched the show with you, with our friends, with my family. That's one thing we can all do here together as a family at Hollywood Studios, and it will be the last thing, it seems, because it's the only like attraction that doesn't doesn't spin or doesn't cause any kind of emotion issues or anything like that. So yeah, and then Aerosmith. I'm a huge Aerosmith fan since I was a kid. I love their songs. I get it. It's going away. I would have guessed that would have went way long ago.
Yeah.
I totally joked about how, hey, it's probably gonna be a Taylor Swift coaster because she's more relevant and all that. But I am sad that Aerosmith's going away because I love that. To just slap Muppets on it, that's just a slap in the face.
Yeah.
I think that's just a cheap way out for Disney to be like, oh, we'll just make it a Muppet coaster. Well, if they're gonna put a Muppets Inc. coaster, why can't they do a Muppets Inc. coaster?
True.
Did I say Muppets Inc.?
Yeah.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Muppets Inc. Right now.
Yeah.
That could be the title of the
Muppets
video.
Inc.
But they could. But you want to know why? Because they know the success of Slinky Dog, and they know that all the kids want to go over there because that's really all the kids have. So they're going to do the same thing. They're thinking, we're going to do this over here with Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. 3 coming soon. I'm just predicting it right here. And we're gonna offset all these people through this park, so they have this giant breezeway, and that's what they're thinking. But you could also do a Muppets coaster, and not take down Muppets. There's all kinds of different things you could do. What they've done here, by the way, this is gonna be a long story. By the way, what they've done here is just made it convenient for themselves. It's the cheap way out, and that's. We've proven it, you've proven it, you've talked about it. That's just what's going on. Don't get me started about Tom Sawyer Island.
Yeah.
I'll say that for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You got your own videos too.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for coming
I'm glad
out.
I made it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I think that there are some things that you just don't touch. I think that there are some things that you don't touch, you don't change, you just simply keep it there. I understand, once again, keeping up with the times and quote-unquote progress and like all the things, but I do think that there are certain things that you just simply leave it alone, and you just don't touch it. And I think that Muppet Vision 3D is one of those things. I really do, because, I mean, honestly, like, why? Like, why? We have so many parks, we have a lot of space, they're doing a lot of changes, they're putting in a lot of rides, they're doing a lot of things. Can we have one thing? That's my ask. It's like, can we please just have one thing? And it's the Muppets. Just let it be the Muppets. Just let it be here. Let all of us old fogies, all of us wet blankets, all of us losers out there just have one freaking thing. One. Just one. Out of all of the parks. One thing. Let it be the Muppets. If anything, for the historical purposes of it all. For the fact that you don't want to, take away an important historic piece of somebody's legacy. Somebody else's legacy, I might add there. Like, just leave it alone. Like, why? We can have one thing. We can have one thing, and I think we can agree it can be the Muppets. And if we don't do it for me, please, can we just do it for Jim Henson? Please, can we at least just do that for Jim Henson? And also, to complete my thought from earlier as well, again, like, I kind of feel like maybe we can save it, or we can at least try. We can at least let them know that we're upset about it, okay? We can at least let them know that we don't want this to go away. Please move your land somewhere else where it actually makes sense. Like, please. So here's what I've been doing. Here's been my new mission in life, although I haven't been keeping up with it as well as I should have. Here's my thing. I've been letting them know on social media how upset I've been. I follow a bunch of different accounts now on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. I should do Facebook too. I quit Twitter a long time ago, but basically any social media out there, you know Disney is on there, and they have multiple platforms. The Disney Parks platform, Disney in general, also Disney Plus. I also follow Josh Jamero and like a few of the other bigwigs up there as well. And basically every single post that they do on those accounts, I write a comment saying, hey, can you like talk about the Muppets a little bit more? Basically, like, let us know what you're doing, what your creative solutions are to preserving this historic attraction. I'm not happy that it's moving. Please keep it where it is and all the things. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. And I'm not saying any of you out there should be too. Like, keep it very, very professional. You can keep it simple. You can make a long-winded response. I've done both. And just be like, hey, let us know what you're doing with the Muppets. What are you doing to preserve this historical attraction? What are you doing? Let us know. It's not right that they're not letting us know what they're gonna do. Like, that's honestly bullcrap at this point. Like, we deserve to know what creative solutions that they have hiding up their buttholes for the Muppets. So that's basically what I'm doing. Every chance that I'm able to, I've been going on their social medias and doing that. And not only is it going to hopefully, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but hopefully it can get to the attention of somebody working at Disney, maybe. Who knows? You never know. But I think more importantly, it brings it to the attention of other people out there who are just stumbling upon it. Because if they have a post out there and you see all these comments, but then you see this one comment that's like, what are you doing about the Muppets? What are you doing about Jim Henson's legacy? What are you, all of this stuff. If people don't know about it, that brings awareness to it. And then they may look it up and then they may be like, oh, wow, that's actually really shady of Disney. That's kind of crappy. And, all the things. It brings awareness to it. And that's just as important. I want to, what have I said every single time that I've come out of this attraction? If they take it away, I'm burning it to the ground. I may not physically have a torch here with me today, but I will do my best to bring this company down to the ground as much as I can. I will do my part at this point because this is unforgivable. It's unforgivable to me. This is the worst thing that they have ever done. Or that they're going to do, I should say, because I do still think, again, hope is a very dangerous thing, but I do still think there's a possibility that we could get them to change their minds about this. It's very possible. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to take some time out of your day, go to their social medias, let them know your displeasure about it. Tell your friends, tell your family, do all the things. But again, be nice, be respectful. Don't be mean or anything like that. Just let them know that you're not happy about it. I would also say, and again, all of this is just my own opinion, but if you are somebody out there who has a channel, who has a social media platform, if you are a Disney vlogger, if you're a theme park vlogger, or whatever you're doing, if you have a platform, if you have people out there listening to you and all the things, I'm not saying what you should do with your channel or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm not, saying that you're a bad person if you don't. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply asking, pleading even, please say something. Please. Again, this is my own opinion, my own person talking here, myself, Cris the Girl. But if you have a platform, please consider saying something. You don't have to be mean again. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be blunt like I am today. Just a simple little something to bring attention to your viewers, your followers out there. Like, spread the word. Maybe we can try to do something about this. Like, let them know. If Disney's gonna listen to anybody, it's gonna be you. It's gonna be you, the people out there with platforms. If you say something, they're gonna pay attention. So I'm just simply asking. I know people watch this, okay? I know you watch this. Please, if you can find it in your heart, please say something. Please say something.
Is Max sending a letter to Santa?
Yes!
Oh!
They already took the mail for Christmas. I know, that's why they got
Good gosh, Max! I have taken over this video, this channel, Tower of Terror, my all-time favorite ride at Walt Disney World. I hate to say this. I mean, it should be at no surprise, but the days of the Hollywood Tower Hotel are sadly numbered as well.
It's speculation on our part because think about it, there's no like Disney IP to wrap around the Tower of Terror. You know, they did it at DCA, they changed it over to Guardians. It's really just a matter of time before they decide they don't want to be associated with the Twilight Zone and make it a more Disney-friendly thing. Maybe they'll put Guardians in here. You never know. Maybe they'll do Star Wars. Maybe they should do Star Wars. Just do Star Wars, Disney. I dare you. I dare you. Make it a Star Wars ride. All right, well, with that, I think we're actually going to head out of the park here and wrap this video up.
Well, this is where you started the video?
This is where I started the video,
This is a nice spot here.
It is a good spot,
It's
yeah.
quiet.
Yep.
Quiet, sure.
Scenic, because look in front of us, we got the boats
There's
and
the
all
boat.
that. So there you go.
It's pretty.
We're gonna end this video, folks. Sorry again, it was long, but it was necessary. Had a lot to talk about. Honestly, I could keep going, but then I would just be talking in circles. Hopefully I got out all of the thoughts and feelings that I had, and I'm not editing this video like, dang it, Cris, you didn't say this and that and the other thing. I know. I understand. I'm a crazy pants. I'm a 30-whatever-year-old woman who loves puppets, okay? Sue me. Like, I get it. I understand. But I care about history. I care about accessibility. I care about the fact that everybody should be able to go to theme parks and have a good time. That's what I care about. I think that is important. And yeah, theme parks aren't just for kids, they should be for everybody. Theme parks aren't just for able-bodied people, they should be for everybody. Theme parks aren't just for rich people, they should be for everybody. That's just my opinion. I know that that's crazy, I know that's a hot take, I know that a lot of people don't agree with me, but here we are. You're welcome to start your own YouTube channel and say your piece on there, because I'm sure a lot of people agree with you as well. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm at a loss, honestly. Like I said, when I found out that the Rivers of America was going away, that's what broke me in half. That's what absolutely I just lost all hope for Disney. Like, and I just literally, like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this theme park. I'm done. And then we got the news about the Muppets, and it's like, I didn't even cry. Like, today was the first day that I actually, like, really cried about this news, because it's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess that checks. That checks for the way that we're going, and the fact that they're just taking a wrecking ball to all of my most favorite things in the entire world and just getting rid of them. So yeah, it checks. So I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you all. I wish I had some comforting words near the end here, or advice or anything like that. I really don't. I'm upset. I'm really, really sad. It's one of the most heartbreaking things that I'm gonna have to experience. Like, period. I know that, again, like, that's crazy. We're talking about a bunch of puppets here, but it's just all, if we want to bring it full circle back to, as I was saying right here on this bench, how I have so many memories here. I have a lot of nostalgia here. I grew up here, all of the things. It's just so hard to see your home change so drastically. And the things that you love the most about your home going away is so painful. It's so difficult. And again, this isn't a unique experience to me. I know so many other people out there feel the exact same way, and they're going through the exact same things. So I just ask once again for some empathy out there. I don't need sympathy, just some empathy, just some understanding. We all need more understanding of where other people are coming from and how they're feeling about these things. Different people feel different ways about different things. You know, there's plenty of people out there who are more upset about Rock and Roller Coaster than I am, you know, and that's okay, and that's valid, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel you, I see you, I hear you. Like, we all just have different memories and different experiences, and that just because you don't feel that way doesn't mean that they are invalid, and it doesn't mean that we should be mean to other people for feeling differently than you. It just simply is how it is, and all this channel is really, at the end of the day, is just a video diary. It's just me explaining my own thoughts and my feelings and my life and all of that stuff. And basically that's what this is. That's all that this video really is. It's just me documenting history and documenting my history. Any thoughts, Tampa Jay, that you'd like to chime in?
Well,
No
I
pressure.
said a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke a lot. You know, it's definitely, you know, just to bring it up a little notch, like we're trying to do here at the end. It's definitely a love-hate relationship. Like, we wouldn't be out here if we didn't care about the parks. And that's what's coming out of her. That's pouring out of her. She just grew up here, and she has all these memories. And we love, specifically, she loves the Muppets. And it's something that I believe a lot of people feel and don't have, a platform. And that's the main reason why we put those out there, and we realize that not a lot of people will agree or feel the same way. There might be Monsters Inc. people like celebrating right now,
I like Monsters Inc.
But
I like Monsters Inc. Like, you don't understand. Like, that was like one of my favorite Pixar movies. I like Monsters Inc. I was excited for that. Like, yeah, put it in Animation Courtyard. I'm here for it. Let's go. I can't ride the ride, but I don't care. I love Monsters Inc. So I'm just, I agree. Go on. Sorry.
I didn't want to go rehash it, but this is more about Jim Henson's legacy, and I'm anxious to know more about what the Jim Henson family truly feels about this. I know they did like a little statement about it, and they may have known about this the whole time.
I hope so.
But
I hope so.
Yeah, I just really appreciate the time we get to come out here and and spend time with these attractions. We're just having the ability to enjoy these theme parks and able to express our opinions is
it's a privilege.
It's a privilege, and it's an honor.
Yeah.
And just if there's someone watching this that they're like, yes, that's how I feel, then yes, and then we're with you, And if you don't, if you think it's just all like, oh yeah, whatever, that's fine too. But like, we're gonna take every chance we get to speak our mind and voice our opinions, and that's just it.
Yeah, that's the point of the channels, and that's the beauty of it. And yeah, I'm glad you said all that, because again, at the end of the day, like, we're talking a little bit about first world problems here, although honestly, once again, I would argue it's a little bit more serious than that, because I will say this till my dying breath. The Muppet Vision 3D is a historical place. Like, it is more important than anybody's nostalgia and memories and all of that stuff. Like, it's a lot more important than that, in my opinion, as a person who cares about history and again, a big fan of Jim Henson. But nonetheless, anyway, kind of first world problems. We're very privileged and blessed to be able to be annual pass holders, to be able to afford these things, to come here, to make these videos, all of that stuff. So I definitely don't want to come across as, complaining too much here, but it's a love-hate relationship. It is definitely a love-hate relationship, just like how I ended the other video, the Rivers of America one. It's like a family member. It's like a problematic family member that, you're always going to love them. You're always going to have a special place in your heart for them. But when they act a fool, then they act a fool, and you kind of hate them at the same time. And that's basically where I'm at with my life. I mean, I'm more on the hate side of it. I'm not going to lie to you all. I'm more of this company needs to burn down to the ground side of it.
You're very sentimental. You're one of the most sentimental people I've met with a lot of things, and I'm the same way.
Yeah, I am.
Disney has no more sentiment when it comes to their history, and that's the hardest thing to swallow. Is they will cut every corner. They will take every chance they got not to build another park and just retheme stuff, the Disney way, and that's just going to these parks. I've seen that the last 5 or 6 years. I've seen it, like, everything's the same. They change a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, they're not doing much. They're not doing much.
They're not being innovative. They're not being creative. They're just, again, pulling things out of their butts.
Yeah.
So it's tough. This company has changed. It has changed a lot, and it's changing in a way that I just absolutely do not agree with in any way, shape, or form. And it is just, it's heartbreaking for me. It's heartbreaking for my family, making 30 plus years here in this place. It is heartbreaking. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really sorry, you all. Again, like, it's a downer of a video, and I apologize, but it is what it is. This is just simply where we are at with life, and we'll just have to see what happens. So anyway, that's it for this video. We're going on a 10-minute now outro here, so I apologize. It's a long video, but there's a lot to say. So, you know, we're not done here at Disney, okay? We're not done here at Disney. I still have an annual pass, still plan on using it, still plan on coming to the parks. I'm gonna be coming back here next week with my family, and we're gonna do a Vlogmas video on that, and you know, all the things, blah 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 blah. I know, but yeah, just know in the back of my heart, in the back of my brain, I'm like, this company just doesn't. Right. It's just different now. It's just. I still think that Walt's vision and dream is still bigger than the mistakes of, you know, the company has made lately. I still think, you know, there's still a chance for redemption somehow. I think there is, but they really gotta. Big changes gotta be made. Exactly. Yeah. Big changes gotta be made. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's it, folks. That is it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another Vlogmas. Make sure you check out Tampa Jay's channel. Didn't film today, but he has a channel. Link is always down in the description below. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye. See you later. Okay, can't make this up, but Aerosmith is just randomly on the radio. You can't make this up. It's a sign. It's a sign.